What's good, everyone? Welcome to another LiveWire Sports Media update. Yes. So we got to talk about Miss Christie Sides. The last couple of games, even through the winning games, this team has not found their groove in some spurts. Not saying in all, but some spurts. There's still a lot of. If y'all hear that in the background, that's fireworks going off. You know, it's the eve of 4th of July, so I'm trying to get this video done. The thing about it is that Christie Sides continue to not utilize Caitlin Clark in the way that she needs to utilize her. Now, we heard weeks ago, people the media was asking her, hey, do you think Caitlin should shoot more? She said, yeah, I think Caitlin should shoot more. I think she should get about 15 shots a game. Okay. In the Phoenix game, she didn't shoot 15 shots, you know. But then again, she almost had the triple-double, and you took her out the game towards the end. Which that triple-double would have probably gave her Rookie of the Month. But the Rookie of the Month went to Angel Reese. I just feel like there is certain peaks of this game where Christie Sides, she allowed Caitlin to do as much as needed, and then if Caitlin seems like she's about to break a record or has some kind of success, she finds a way to slow her game down, not pass her the ball, or take out the game. The thing about this is that Christie Sides, she's gonna have to really have a self-check with herself, because the fact of the matter is, if she messes around and cause CC anything that could detriment her, is going to be looking bad to her. I'm gonna go back to the Fever game when they played down Taurasi. Caitlin Clark was 4 for 14 in that game. She shot 14 times, almost 15 times. She was 2 for 3 from the three-point line. She had 15 points, 12 assists, and 9 rebounds. She could have had a triple-double, like I said. Then you come to the game against the Aces. She was 4 for 12. She didn't even shoot close to 15 shots that game. She had 11 assists, 13 points, 6 rebounds. It looked like, yeah, Elizabeth Smith had 15 rebounds in that game, I think. 14 rebounds in that game. But it's like you use Alyssa Smith in the game to get rebounds where it takes out of Caitlin Clark's range. Because I think if you had like Timmy Finn-Bentley, I think Timmy Finn-Bentley probably will let Caitlin get it. Because every time you look, Caitlin and Alyssa Smith battling for a rebound, and then Caitlin just lets it go. Alyssa Smith never lets the rebound go to Caitlin unless Caitlin has to steal it from him. You know what I'm saying? So the lineup last night was Katie Lou, Caitlin, Kelsey, Boston, and Alyssa Smith. The game was somewhat close throughout the whole thing. It was close. They crawled their way back in the first quarter. Got in there. Caitlin had 5 assists in the first quarter. 5 assists in the first quarter. If you took it 5 by 5 by 5, she could have had 20 assists in the game, or probably more. They stuck around. And then you start doing these weird substitutions, as you always do. You put Damaris Johnson's in the game who has not have a game warm-up yet. She just came back along with Timmy Finn-Bentley. The game against the Mercury was a perfect game towards the end. Well, not towards the end, probably. Well, the game before that, really. The game before that, Damaris Dodgers came in because they played the Storm. That was a game you could have put her in to get her some warm up. It was a blowout game. You wasn't gonna win that game. You could have put her in like 4 minutes in the game just to get her some run, to get her accustomed with the speed. And if you did wanted her to put her in the Mercury game, you could have put her in at some point in time. But you put her in a game that was close. You put her in a game that was close. Katie Lou got in foul trouble. Her and Alyssa Smith was not hitting shots at all. But you didn't think about it and say, hey, let's run some high post or some pick and roll where you could get. Boston didn't have she had a decent night, but she didn't play well because she doesn't have the moves to contend with Joe Wilson. And then you've got to think, y'all didn't even try to get the ball out of Joe Wilson's hand, knowing that she was going off on y'all the first and second quarter. Instead of trap her to get her out the ball out of her hand, make somebody else beat them. Then when the fever came down and go in the midway through the third quarter, it was 5 minutes. Y'all was losing 5 points by 5 points. You keep putting Christie Wallace in the game when she's a poor defender. Kelsey Mitchell is a poor defender. You got Alicia Gray, Kelsey Plum on there. Now, Caitlin gave up some bad shots last night too, but Kelsey Plum only scored 13 points at that time. In the second half, Kelsey Plum had 34. She had 34 points, so that means she scored 21 points in the second half. So when Cece was on her, she only had 13 points throughout the first 2 quarters. Matter of fact, the first 3 quarters, three and a half quarters. Then you put Mitchell and Wallace on her, and the girl exploded for 21 points down the stretch. Y'all left her open, continuous time behind the 3-point line, no adjustment. Soon as she started getting hot, you didn't do nothing. But then you get in a press conference and talk about defense. How the hell you can talk about defense when you cut one of the defensive players and then you didn't even put this person in? You didn't even put Lexi Hall in the game, who has the highest offensive and net rating and defensive rating. She did not play a single minute last night, despite Wallace, Samuelson, and Wheeler shooting a combined 3 for 13 from the field. So you have a person that has a better defense rating than the 3 that I just called. Then you have a person that has a better offensive rating than the person I called. Now, Lexi Hall hasn't really hit from the outside either, but guess what? She knows how to run screens. She knows how to set picks for Caitlin. She knows how to get the ball back to Caitlin. But y'all don't want to put her in the game because you're so damn dedicated to Christie Wallace and Erica Wheeler. I understand that Katie Lou, she had a decent game a couple of times, and you want to give her some minutes or whatever the case may be. But if you're trying to beat teams or you're trying to beat a good team, play the person that's giving you the best chance to be in that position. This is why I keep telling you, Christie Sides is an incompetent ass coach. She don't know how to coach. You got a lame duck GM who ain't did shit since the Fever won the championship, and she sits there. You get 2 number 1 picks back to back, and you cannot put a squad around them. You hire a coach that's supposed to be good at defense, and she ain't been good. If you go back to look at her years as assistant, even when she down in Atlanta Dream wasn't that good. You got teams that you got players that get hot. Same thing with Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd has torched us every time she got on the court because y'all don't make her get the ball out her hand. Same thing when you play who else it is? Same thing with Trinity Carter. When y'all play the Sky, y'all don't force her to get the ball out her hand. You know that she could score. Force her. Make everybody else beat y'all. They don't do that. And the thing about it is, the Fever is not a good perimeter defensive team. So you can't say defense if you not implement your defensive person. Now, I understand that Dantas came in the game. She looked slow. You know what I'm saying? She hasn't really had time to get conditioned the way she needs to. She looked like how Leo Boston was in the beginning of the season. And it's going to take Dantas probably the second half of the season to catch up to game speed because she missed so much time. So you can't play her, especially when you're playing good teams. If you're blowing teams out or your team's blowing you out, then put her in the game to say, hey, I need to get you up to game speed. We're not going to win this game. Then allow her to get her foot in, allow her to get some shots in. Me personally, if you brought her in last night, what you should have did, use her for a high pick and roll and back out. Caitlin should have been in there instead of Wheeler, because guess what? When Wheeler was in there, Wheeler didn't even look for her. You pass now when she had a position down low and you got the ball to her and she turned around and fade back. That is her shot. She does that all day, but she don't have the rhythm yet. Now, if Dantas get up to rhythm and start hitting those shots, then it's a whole different thing. But the thing about it is, Christie Sides cannot coach. She don't know how to use her players' strength to their strength at all. And it's the same thing time again. You can't expect for Caitlin Clark just to be a passer in the game. She has to score points at some point to give y'all a better chance to win. Why you think she's getting blitzed 100% of the time when teams play her? She's the #1 person on everybody's scouting report because they know that nobody else on that team could beat the one-on-one. If you shut Caitlin Clark down, you shut the whole Indiana Fever team down, period. There ain't no excuses for you as a coach, supposedly lead coach, to not have your team say, hey, look, we need to start getting her better screens. Lissa Smith setting, they got to set screens at the doggone half court because teams are blitzing her. You don't hold these players accountable and say, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. Stop talking about defense all the time. You know what she reminds me of? She reminds me of Thibodeau from the Chicago Bulls and the New York Knicks. Because Thibodeau do that same thing. He banks on defense and he grinds his players out. He allowed certain players to shoot crazy and no offensive set, whatever. Do you think Tex Winter? Hold on, let me go back real quick. This is what I feel. I don't know what her assistant coaches there are or what's their criteria, but if you're a defensive coach and you want to focus on defense, okay, let me put it in this way, football terms. Bill Belichick is a defense mastermind, but guess what? He hired offensive coaches to run the offense for the team. Christie Sides, you need to have an offensive genius on your squad to scheme up plays and let them coach the offense. If you're so much of a defensive specialist, implement defensive schemes better. You can't do both. You can't be working up schemes for the offense or working up schemes for the defense and calling the shots on both sides. You're going to have to pick and choose, because what you're doing is handicapping the team and handicapping your players at the same time. When Phil Jackson had Tex Winters was the mastermind behind the triangle offense. That allowed Phil Jackson just to oversee and see other things and let Tex Winters implement the offense where his person play at his personnel strength. You don't have that. Steve Kerr was there with Phil Jackson. Then Steve Kerr went and played for Greg Popovich, another mastermind genius that implements things. He had a Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Manu Ginobili, Bruce Bowen. That was a defensive person. And all he did came in and played defense and shot threes. Robert Horry, the same thing. You got Lexi Hall right here, and she can't get the minutes that she deserves. That's highway robbery. Now listen to Christie Sides at the press conference about what they need to work on.
Next game against the Liberty, what are the positives you can take from tonight's game that you can hopefully take over for a game that's not until Saturday?
Yeah, I think the first one is just, the way we battled defensively for 3 quarters. I mean, we lost the first quarter 26-24 when we were, putting the ball in the hole, and then just got to find a way. We were getting stops, held them to 20 and 19 in the second and third. Just got to get back to Indianapolis. They're already talking about getting shots up. Just got to put the ball in the hole. We had great looks. We're trying to get the ball inside. They were 14 for 27 at the rim. That's just, we've got to be better. That percentage has to be better.
Matt, last one.
Now she's talking about we was putting the ball in the hole. We was, we was this and we was that. Okay, but then you still didn't tighten up the defense. When you tighten up defense, it makes the offense flow a little bit better. When you're not playing defense and your offense has to play catch up, it makes it hard and it tires down your team. You knew Angel Wilson was going off in the first half. You should have played a little bit tighter defense on her, double team her to get the ball out of her hand. You just seen what the Washington Mystics had done to her a couple of nights before. Then all of a sudden, Kelsey Plum she didn't even have a good game against them. But you allow people to get off on your team all the time that don't even have a good game or is a good offense. I always say this, you cannot leave Kelsey Plum open. I'd rather take my chances with Alicia Gay or Chelsea, Alicia Gary or Chelsea Gray. Either one of them, because I know one of them is not going to have a big scoring game. The big scoring games come from Wilson and Plum. But again, Christie Sides don't know what the hell she's doing. And then Lynn Dunn, she was at the game. She'll show up to the game, but she don't even sit there and have a game plan to say, hey, you know what, coach, we need to start doing something different. I pray and hope that after these next 5 games of this month, and they go on this break for a month, I pray that they make a change at coach. And if she comes back, I hope they have a better game plan or pick up or cut somebody and pick up Celeste Taylor back. Having Celeste Taylor and Lexi Hall in this game with Caitlin Clark would have been way better, because guess what? If you had Celeste Taylor, Lexi Hall playing, you had 2 of the best defensive people that you could have put one on Plum and one on Chelsea or Alicia. And then you probably would have you could have had Timmy or Boston in the back, or Melissa Smith or Boston in the back playing a little bit better. And then Clark would have been able to do the things that is needed. But again, I don't have faith in a coach like her. because she doesn't know how to. She always talk about, oh, we got to work on this when we get back, work on defense. And that's what she going to say in the damn press conference in the next couple of days. It's defense. They played the Liberty Saturday. I don't expect for any changes. I don't expect for any changes at all. Until this coach gets fired and the GM gets fired, this team is going to go to trash. And I've been reading a lot of comments on X, and I said this. When CeCe got 2 more years on her rookie deal, one of 2 things is going to happen. No, I'll give you 3 things. 3 things that needs to happen. The number one thing in the offseason, or because most teams don't like firing coaches in the middle of the season, so I get it. I done seen it in football and other sports, so I get it. This offseason, they have to change coach. They have to change coach. It can't be no other way, and they got to change GM. Me personally, I would bring in a male GM. I said this. Lisa Bluer would have been a perfect GM for the Indiana Fever. And then she could put the coach that she needs in the game. Lisa Bluer will be the right GM for the Fever because she knows how Caitlin plays. She knows how to go after players to put around Caitlin. And then you go already have your coach in place that can run the system that y'all had in Iowa. That would be the number one take. The second is CeCe wait out her 3 years on her contract. And then you're going to have every team in the W that's going for her. You might have the Aces even trying to get her. Kelsey Plum contract is up this year. They probably resign her back. Breonna Stewart contract is up. Hell, they might even make a trade for. They might even trade might make a trade for Caitlin. The Sparks could be looking at Caitlin in a couple of years. The Storm could be looking at her. Phoenix could be looking at her. Don Taurasi time might be up after the season. Brittany Griner might retire. Guess what? I'd be like, hey, I'll give you my draft pick for Caitlin Clark. She right there in Phoenix. Ain't gonna be too far away. And guess what? You have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, all of them out there. Then everybody's gonna be wanting to come to Phoenix. They're gonna sign everybody. So the only way this is gonna change, you're gonna have to change the coach at the end of the season. And on top of that, you're gonna have to get rid of the GM. You're gonna have to bring somebody in there. Me personally, even if Bob Myers wasn't with the Commanders, I would love to have him as a GM. Bob Myers would have been a perfect GM for the Indiana Fever. He know because he built the whole Golden State organization the way it is for the one championship. He will be able to come in and do the same thing for the Indiana Fever and got the right coach in the right spot. But again, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Because to be honest with you, it's time for Christie Sides to go. It's over already. Her time is done. This is her last season with this team. This team is not going to succeed under her, and she's going to continue to kill the talent. That's the little bit of talent on this team, and she's going to kill the talent of her 2 number 1 picks. She doesn't know how to coach. She doesn't. And I do believe the owner for the Pacers and the Fever, he's going to make changes. He's seen it. He's going to make changes. So with that being said, continue to like, comment, subscribe. Until then, I'm out.